Danny O'Brien, welcome to the ATV ranks of trainers. Obviously, first horse with Darren and Liz. We'll just get a little snapshot of your career. First interest in racing, how did that all come about?
Look, I grew up on a sort of hobby farm property where my father always had half a dozen broodmares, half a dozen weanlings and yearlings each year that we'd prepare for sales, and then he was a hobby trainer as well, so we always had two or three in work. So, mainly my education early doors was in the breeding side of it, preparing horses for yearling sales and going to yearling sales, but there's always a couple we were working as well. But from a young age, I was working with thoroughbreds of all ages.
Mentors, people along the way that you've sort of gleaned a lot of?
Look, the first racing stable I worked for was Bart Cummings, so I probably was pretty lucky there. Backwards into Australia's greatest trainer, and worked for him for sort of 3 or 4 years in a great period where we had Let's Elope and Richfield Lady and Reba Diva. Was a really good period for the stable. And, certainly most of the stuff that I've implemented from an early doors was just the routines and the regimes that Bart did. Feed the horses well, have a relaxed environment where they're healthy and happy, and be patient. It was his one thing that he would always say. It's the cheapest thing in the world to have, but not many people buy it, which is patience. So he's certainly been the biggest influence on my career.
Excellent. 2 bases, obviously in town and out here at Barwon Hedge, which is a magnificent setup here. It's something that you've put a lot of time into over the last 12 or 13 years or more. Just run us through both bases.
So the Barwon Hedge facility, we've got our own track, which is just on 2,000 metres, 20 metres wide of grass and 10 metres wide of sand. It enables us obviously to have a really good grass galloping surface whenever we want. And just we've got a magnificent environment here for the horses. We work them, when we like, just start at daylight and finish at 11 or 12 in the morning. And particularly for the young horses, they're not having that hustle bustle of a city track while they're getting that initial grounding and initial fitness. And the other big plus of Barwon Hedge is 13th Beach. We take probably half the horses down to 13th Beach each day. Half of them work here. We get the benefit of that deep sand grounding down there, as well as just the mental side of going to the beach each day. And then when they are ready, Flemington's a great environment too. It sharpens them up. They're in a racecourse environment. Obviously we've got the benefit of trialling there and galloping there, and there's a lot of the big races are there, so we have a terrific record on our home track, and both facilities are really only an hour apart, so we're pretty fortunate.
Seems to be the go now. There's a lot more transition to the country sort of setups, and it gives a nice cross section of training, I suppose.
Yeah, it definitely does. Your hands are tied, obviously, in the city with they open the tracks at 4:30, they close them at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and a lot of horses need to get through that system. So it's definitely good to have one facility where you run your own rules and do your own thing.
Highlights, Danny. Obviously, it's been an extensive and a successful career. Pinpoint any highlights?
Like the major races, I've been lucky enough to win the Cox Plate and the Caulfield Cup. They're probably the two that really stick in your mind, because they've got a great focus for people outside of racing. But look, I still get a thrill out of winning a race any day. It's funny when you go to the races with owners and they think that you're not going to be as excited as they am because they've only got the one horse, but I can guarantee every time I win, I'm every bit as excited as anyone, because it's always a journey. Every horse has his own journey. They just don't turn up and win the next day. You've generally had them and you've educated them and taken the time. So I just love winning any race, and love particularly the energy when the owners are there with you, and you see how much it means to them too, because I came from that background of raising and racing horses with my dad and that, and just know how exciting it is to have a winner anywhere, anytime.
Yep. Obviously now the opportunity for both us and yourself with the connection with Darren and Liz with Australian Thoroughbred Bloodstock. Exciting times going ahead.
Yeah, really excited for us to get involved with Darren and Liz. We've watched their business grow over the last 15 or 20 years and seen how many winners they get and how many nice horses they race. So we're thrilled to be involved now, and looking forward to having some success together.
Obviously, I think there's a passion between both. We love staying horses. Obviously, race Dan Dino. You've got one of his progeny here. Training stays, preference over sprinters? As long as they're quick, it doesn't matter.
I think it's more rewarding. You know, it's generally a longer burn for a stayer. You can have a sprinter like. We won the Blue Dime one year with a Star Witness, and that was in his third start. You know, and literally we'd broken him in 6 months previously, so that return is a lot quicker. But yeah, as exciting as it is, it's not as rewarding as having a horse that you take all the way from the Yearling South to winning a Derby or winning a big staying race to 4 or 5 year olds. So yeah, winning's great at any distance, but certainly the real rewards you get for having a stay, and they give you more longevity. You know, if they're sound and you can look after them, they'll be racing well for you at 5, 6 and 7.
Just back to the numbers you've got. You may have mentioned it, I may have missed it, but just in terms of here and in the city.
So we work. We have 40 boxes at Flemington and 50 boxes at Bowen Heads, and that's about as busy as we like to be. Enables us to have 2 tight teams between the 2 venues where we've got good riders on them every day and good staff looking after them. And, I think that's the perfect number for us.
Beautiful. Not too much more. I've asked the obvious question to a few of our trainers is about the preference, a Melbourne Cup or a Cox Plate. We already ticked one off, so the obvious one is the Melbourne Cup.
I'd love to win the Melbourne Cup. It is the race that everyone in Australia knows, and it's just getting harder and harder to win. There's obviously only an Australian trainer who wins it once every 5 or 10 years now, but we're certainly still trying. We've had Master Aurora and 4th in it 1 year, and we've still got the advantage of training there at Flemington, which you were always going to wear the black shorts when you're running the Melbourne Cup. Just got to keep identifying the right horses so that we've got the opportunity to the horse that can really run a slick 3,200 metres.
Dan Dino was 5th in the Melbourne Cup for us. You've got one of his progeny. Hopefully the connection between Dan Dino and maybe this fella can lead us to, jointly winning that cup somewhere down the track.
Yeah, I think it can only happen in those circumstances where you have people teaming together with the long-term ambition of doing it. And as you said, identifying horses like him that have at least got the pedigree, because you're not going to fall backwards into one that hasn't got the genetics to do it. So with the Dandino, he's certainly got that side ticked already.
Beautiful. Thanks for your time, Danny. We look forward to a long association and hopefully a successful one along the way.
No, my pleasure, and likewise.